am the hermit, and I love to draw. And so I thought that it would be a great idea if I did Inktober for the first time all the way through this year. The first prompt was mustache, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know what to do for this one. My first thought was, I'll just draw a gigantic big orange mustache, like the thing that the Lorax has. So recently I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight and the Hollow Knight Silksong, so I tried to give it a little bit of that aesthetic, even though I don't think I really exceeded at doing that very well. The next thing that I tried to do was take my idea of this orange Lorax mustache and sort of expand upon it a little bit. So I thought that the best way to go was locks that are so luscious they look like water, because that makes sense. The second prompt was weave, and once again I found myself not really knowing what to do. But then I remembered that a couple years ago, my older sister used to have a rule that she would not draw any fan art for Inktober, so I decided that that was going to be the way that I was going to go too. So I started off by drawing a generic little Halloweenish spider dude, and it's weaving stuff, because that's what spiders do. For the background music, weaving always makes me think of Penelope from Epic the Musical, so I decided to put her song in the background. When I saw this next prompt, any previous convictions I had of not to draw fan art this month were completely shattered and thrown out the window. This is because animation versus Minecraft is one of my favorite things to watch ever, and one of my favorite characters from animation versus Minecraft is King Orange, and he wears a crown. So I had to. I was compelled by the worms in my brain and the demons under my bed to draw him. The fourth prompt was murky. This one, I don't really want to talk about this one. I was very, tired that night. It was late, so I didn't try very hard on it, and it looks really bad. And that's it. It was at the fifth prompt that I was once again excited. My first thought was Alistair, because he's, a deer. But then I remembered this scene from the Owl House.
That deer really spooked us. Will my insurance cover this?
But Mommy, it wasn't a deer. It was a monster!
Bellows has always been one of my favorite characters from that show, and I've always been a little bit disappointed that we never got to see more from him in the third season. So I decided to take that duty upon myself. Folks, we were robbed of Dear Bellows, and I'm not gonna let that stand. But at the same time, I didn't want to abandon Alistair completely, so I used him as inspiration for the song that I picked to be in the background. And that must have been a good idea, because it was the first one of my shorts that actually did well, especially compared to my other videos. I really wanted to sell the idea that he was rotting off of the bones, so I drew the skeleton of the deer first so that I could erase a big portion of his skin off later to really make it look like it's just falling off. For the sixth prompt, I played around with several different ideas before I landed on the one that I ended up doing in the end. I was thinking of either drawing Caleb and Bellows, or maybe one of my original characters, and after thinking about it for a while, I decided it would be better to draw one of my original characters. This got me excited because I usually don't get a chance to gush about my characters, so now I have the opportunity. This character is my version of Lucifer for a story that I'm writing that will probably never see the light of day. In my story, Lucifer has been cursed to be a goop that cannot survive without a host. However, he takes great pleasure in this, though it was supposed to be a punishment. His newest host at the moment is this charming blue and beige bird thing that you see on the screen right now. I will be calling his new host Puppet for the time being because I have not come up with a better name, nor do I have the ability to. I first got the idea for Puppet's design when I heard about a condition that animals with horns can develop that is called reverse horn growth. It is pretty gross. It's when the horn of the animal continues on growing until it stabs the animal in the skull and can be deadly if not dealt with. I will not be showing a picture here because it's pretty gross. Look it up at your own risk. I decided that for Puppet, his horns would be growing into his eyes so that he has to rely on Satan for all the information that he gets from his surrounding world. And also as a metaphor for how sin and evil can blind us. The next prompt was starfish. And so I decided that I would go with a little bit more of a chill sort of underwater scene that was just kind of peaceful and nice to look at. I didn't want to leave the spooky Halloween aesthetic behind completely, so I added eyes all over the starfish, made some of them like super big, like they are an advancing army coming towards you. Then I added bubbles, and it was done. This one happened to do a lot better than my other videos, and I'm quite pleasantly surprised about it. I did not expect anybody to like it that much. The next prompt was reckless. This reminded me of the time that I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with my siblings, and my character, Sir Garble, ran upstairs of a burning building, and he threw a child out of a window in order to save him. And he was later sued for reckless endangerment, despite the child being unharmed. And if my dungeon master is watching this right now, I will never forget that, and I will never forgive that. For this prompt, I must have been feeling in a D&D mood for those past couple of days, so I once again decided to draw my character, Sir Garble. But this time I decided to add in one of my friend's characters, whose name is Felix, who is the rabbit thing that is carrying the golden chair. My character, Sir Garble, is a snooty noble who calls anyone and everyone his servants, and that's why I love him, because everybody else hates him. I then stared at my drawing for a while, and then realized this is absolutely hideous. Up until that point, I hadn't used any line art in order to make my drawings, and that was just not working for this picture. However, I had already posted this one on YouTube, so it was too late to change anything there, yet it was upsetting me, so I changed it anyway, so you get the better version now. The next prompt was sweep, and once again, I must have been in a D&D mood because I again drew my D&D characters. This time, I drew what happened after I was sued for child endangerment along with my sister. During our trial, the only thing the prosecutor did was insult our appearance and say that we had ugly facial hair and stuff. And the jury was like, yep, that's true. And my sister and I rolled so poorly the entire time that we had no chance of defending ourselves at all. So we were sentenced to community service in the palace of a jerkwad named Zacchaeus. Prompt 11 was sting. The word sting always makes me think of bees. So I decided to just draw a little guy riding a gigantic bee because why not? At first, the little dude that I had drawn on top of the bee had just been a generic little dude with no name. But then I decided it would be fun if I drew one of my original characters called the Cave Hermit Queen in disguise on a journey across the land. For prompt number 12, shredded, I didn't know what to do again, so I decided to fall onto my default, which was apparently draw the stupid little spider guy again. And when I think shredded, I usually think of absolutely ripped muscles. For a while, I was happy with what I had created, but then I was like, this isn't enough. I need more. I need a story. Why is this stupid little guy so strong when she was so weak before? It was at this point that I remembered a comment that my older sister put on my original weave video, which isn't there anymore for some reason. But it was along the lines of that feeling you get when you're weaving naked in your room and Hornet walks in. So that gave me the most spectacular idea for an animation that I could make as to the story of behind why this spider is ripped. And then the brainworms took over, and then several hours later it was done. Simply talking about it doesn't do it justice, so I will show it here. Day 13 was drink, and I don't really have to say very much about this one, except that I struggled making it look like gold, but other than that, it's not really important. Day 14, trunk, was an interesting one. I had procrastinated far too long to get started on my drawing, so it had become extremely late at night. Because of this, I decided to try a different format for my video, so I did it traditionally instead of my regular digital version, and it was a nice change of pace. In this picture, I decided to draw my version of Lucifer / puppet, or whatever you want to call him, along with my character called Kevakiah. Kevakiah is the bird guy with the horns that is on the left of the drawing, and he is most likely probably the main character of the story I'm writing, mostly because he's just my favorite character and I don't really like the other characters I have quite as much, which is probably a bad thing, but oh well. He is also the antagonist of my story, and he is also possessed by Lucifer, though he's not completely been taken over yet, so he is the caretaker or guardian or whatever of Puppet, because he doesn't want Puppet to die for some reason, because he has an irrational love for him because he has abandonment issues. In this picture, Kevakiah is hiding Puppet in the trunk of a car, which doesn't really make sense because cars weren't really around in the time frame that I set my story in, but it doesn't really matter because this is an Inktober, and I can draw whatever I want. For prompt 16, ragged, I decided to draw Odysseus because he wears rags sometimes. I don't really have anything else to say about this drawing. After my day 12 shredded video, the spider I had drawn originally for Weave had quickly become one of my new favorites, so I decided to draw her again for this prompt as well. For some reason, blunder always makes me think of accidentally triggering a trap, and when I think of traps, I always think of some sort of underground, ancient, Indiana Jones type ordeal. The 17th prompt was ornate. For the longest time, ever since I can remember, I've been a fan of Hollow Knight. Surely you cannot tell by my character design. And the most ornate place that I can think of in the whole game of Hollow Knight and Silksong combined is the White Palace. I was originally just going to draw the bench, but that was boring, so I decided to draw the Pale King as well. When I see most other people draw the Pale King, I see them give him an entirely white body, and I think that's fine, but all of his children have black bodies, so I'm assuming they got that from him. Either that or from the Void, I don't know. When I saw this next prompt, I got excited. I have already said before that animation versus Minecraft is one of my favorite things to watch ever, and that includes animator versus animation as well. In the newest episode, the Dark Lord finally comes back and he makes a deal with Victim, and that makes me so happy and so excited for the next episode, so I just had to draw it. Since stick figures are so simplistic to draw, I also decided to draw 2 pictures for this prompt, just to make the time last a little bit longer. And also, I wanted to draw Hacker because Hacker is so cool! For the background music of this one, I decided to use the Bill version of the main theme of Gravity Falls, because when I think of deals and deal making, I always think of Bill because he's awesome. Day number 19 was Arctic. Another one of the shows that I used to watch when I was younger was The Mandalorian, and I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for it in my heart, and I cannot stress how glad I am that they made 2 seasons and they decided not to make any more seasons after that, because the story ended off perfectly where it was at the end of season 2, and I'm so glad they didn't make anything more after that. This drawing probably took me the longest out of all the Inktobers, simply because The Mandalorian is just a very detailed design, and I put a lot more effort into it than I usually do. Day number 20 was Rivals. Yeah! Do I know of any shows that have intense rivalries in them that I love? No, I couldn't possibly. No, I do! One of my favorite things about AVA is the Chosen One's relationship with the Dark Lord, because that's just so interesting to me. The Chosen One and the Dark Lord used to be best friends. And I think that the Chosen One did a lot of bad things when he was with the Dark Lord because he didn't want to lose that friendship. And I believe that when they stopped being friends during the showdown, that it was incredibly hard on the Chosen One, and he was so sad that he had to leave behind his best friend. I personally believe that the Chosen One is the one who killed Mitzi, and I think that in this drawing that I drew, he's staring into the water and looking at his reflection, because I think he feels incredibly guilty about what he did while he was friends with the Dark Lord, and he believes that deep down he's just as bad as the Dark Lord, but he doesn't want to believe that. All this rant to say, these 2 are my favorite duo ever, because of the drama. For day 21, I decided to draw the Lamb from Cult of the Lamb about to be in some real dookie. Whenever I play Cult of the Lamb, I always find that the bombs are very dangerous, and I find them incredibly difficult to dodge sometimes. Day 22 was Button. This was another one of those times where I had procrastinated for a really long time until it was like 11 o'clock. But being the resourceful youth that I am, I took the thing that I had been drawing instead of the Inktober and used it as the Inktober. And it technically fits the prompt because he has buttons on his shirt, so there. Earlier that day, I had been sketching ideas for a Stylus redesign in my sketchbook, and I had been in the process of turning it into a digital drawing. I have myself never watched Hell of a Boss for reasons. However, I really like all of the characters' designs, and I've watched many reaction videos and video essays about it, and I've just sort of fallen in love with it a little bit. Seeing all of these wonderful designs made me want to try it for myself. And to be honest, my redesign is far from perfect, but I am still quite happy with it. The original design is just so good, and I don't think it really needs to be improved that much. I've had in the back of my mind an idea for a Hell of a Boss rewrite for a while now, because I've seen that some of the major complaints that people have about Hell of a Boss is the fact that Stolas got majorly retconned in the second season. And if there's anything I love more than a villain arc, it is a redemption arc that is done well. And I think that it's a shame that they retconned him and didn't make him face the consequences of his actions instead of facing what he did, taking responsibility for it, and apologizing for it. He was robbed of character growth. I decided to base my version of Stolas off of a barn owl because I love barn owls and I think they're so cute and awesome. And I was somewhat inspired by this version of Hamlet because he's blonde and he looks so cool in that outfit that he has. I don't think that my design for Stolas was completely 100% perfect, but I am quite proud of it, and I was a little bit disappointed at how it did, because I really expected it to do well, especially because if there's anything that people love more than Hell of a Boss, it's hating Hell of a Boss, and due to that fact, people often love watching redesign videos. Despite this, I'm still quite happy with it. The next prompt was Firefly. For this one, I wanted to do something a little bit more unique than just a regular old firefly. So I decided to draw a regular fly, but set it on fire. I also decided to draw the fly crying tears of agony or something, because I don't know. I must have just been really sad that night, I don't quite remember. The prompt for day 24 was Rowdy. I mega didn't know what to do with this one, so once again I fell back on my default and just drew the spider again. As Inktober went on, I started to get more and more lazy, so the drawings aren't quite as good. Fortunately for me though, the next prompt was Inferno. I enjoyed this one because the word Inferno makes me immediately think of hell, and hell makes me think of Has-Been Hotel. And once again, even though I've never actually watched Has-Been Hotel, I am extremely invested in all the characters, so I had a fun time drawing this one. I was going for almost a poster type thing, with Adam at the top, Lou, and then Charlie at the bottom, because I love revenge arcs almost as much as I like redemption and villain arcs. For day 26 puzzling, I decided that I would draw an actual puzzle, because why not? I drew most of my Inktobers when it was a little bit more late at night, usually around 10 o'clock or even later than that. So I just wanted this one to be calm and relaxing. So I decided to draw my two personas just hanging out with each other. On day 27, I got sick, and so I didn't draw anything. In fact, I'm still sick. I have not recovered yet, in case you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice. Day 28 was skeletal. For this one, I had to resist the urge to draw Sans the skeleton, so I drew one of my original characters whose name is Argoth the Devourer. I decided to draw him cutely laying in the grass and just enjoying life for a while. I don't usually draw nature or backgrounds, so the grass was difficult for me and I don't think it turned out the greatest, but it's acceptable enough. Day 29 was lesson. I don't know why this reminded me of wheat, but for some reason it did. In my Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I participated in with my brother as Dungeon Master, there was a character whose whole bit was just to scream, "Wheat!" So I drew him, teaching us about wheat. Day 30 was another day where I was feeling a little bit lazy, but then I realized, hey, that spider guy, he has nothing going on in that brain of his. You could almost call it vacant. So that's what I drew. No thoughts going on behind those eyes. After 31 days, I had finally reached the end of Inktober. Since it was the very end, I knew I had to put extra effort into this one. When I made this piece, I took great inspiration from the Hunter Skeksis from the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance series. I was feeling particularly excited for this one, so I decided to make a brand new character. This character looks very similar to some of my other characters, especially Kevakaya, but I think for this one, that's alright. One of the things that I wanted to do to really make this person different from my other characters is I wanted to make his colors different. I've never had an all purple character before, and so I thought this was a great opportunity. Also, I was just in a purple mood that day. I just wanted to draw purple and nothing else. I really wanted to make the white of this character's eyes dark, but at the same time, I didn't want to lose their eyelash, so I decided to make their eyelash pink. Because light colored eyelashes is one of my guilty pleasures. My so original idea was that he hunts other members of his kind and he takes their skulls and mounts them on his wall as a trophy, or I guess you could say an award. He takes great pleasure in this, as the hunt is his favorite thing ever. Or her, I haven't decided yet. Since it was the last day, I did my best to do shading and all that good stuff. I even attempted a background. I don't draw backgrounds very often, but I tried my best to add lots of details. I added some stuff on his desk in the background because I really wanted to make this room feel like it's lived in. One of the details that I loved adding in was the head on the table that is not a skull because it still has flesh on it. I was thinking that they specifically take the head and either scrape off all the flesh first or wait for the flesh to rot off before putting it up on display. And that's it, folks. That's the end of Inktober. I really enjoyed doing Inktober this year, and I hope you enjoyed watching me yap about it. This is a list of my top 5 favorite Inktobers. Let me know down in the comments which ones you liked the best. Goodbye.